What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to this mostly empty classroom back there. Today we're going to actually get into, this one's going to be a little bit longer video, but I need you to kind of pay attention and watch as we go through this. This is an important piece for division story problems. Multiplication, addition, subtraction story problems are all straightforward if you know what to do and when. If you read a problem and it's Bob had 2 cats, he got 2 more. How many cats does he have? It's all very simple, right? You add the cats. Bob got rid of 2 cats. You subtract the cats. But division's different. And division's different because of the remainder. There's leftover pieces sometimes. And so based on what the question's asking you, the answer is going to be different based on what to do with that remainder. Okay, and no other problems have the remainders. They add, subtract, and multiply. They all have just pure answers. But a division problem has answers like 6, remainder 2, right? So that remainder 2 in the real world has some significance. So on this page, on page 117, double check to make sure. On 117, it goes through about 6 different things you have to think about when looking at the remainder. And I'm going to walk you through all 6 of those problems, but I need you to focus in and kind of copy as I go so that you can get the different versions in your head. And then on the next page, you'll have about 6 problems to do on your own. So join me on 117, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, on the top of 117, they're going to give us the one problem that's going to... All right. So in the top of 117, they're going to talk about the division problem that's going to cover every single question down here, okay? And so the division is 9 divided by 4. And 9 divided by 4 is 2. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract, you get 1. That's the remainder. So it's 2, remainder 1. So the how to do the problem isn't the situation. With these story problems, the question is what to do with the remainder. So let's take a look. There's different ways to deal with the remainder. It says, for A, it says, the remainder is not part of the question. So in this case, the question is, Thomas has one 9-foot pine board. He needs to make 4-foot shelves for his books. How many shelves can he cut? That's the question. How many shelves can he cut? So in this case, in the real world, if he had one board that was 9 feet long, and he needed to make 2 4-foot boards. So let's say there was a cut there and a cut there. So this one's 4, this one's 4, and this is the one left over. Well, that's this problem here. This is 4 pieces with 2 chunk or with 1 piece left over, right? 2 4-foot chunks with 1 1-foot chunk left over. And in this case, we just want to know how many shelves he can make. 1, 2. We don't care about the leftover piece of wood. It doesn't matter for this problem, because they're only asking us how many shelves can he cut. So in this case, we don't need the last piece of wood. All right, so same division problem, but now the remainder is different. And this one says the remainder causes the answer to be rounded up. So let's figure this one out. 9 students are going on a field trip. Parents have offered to drive. If each parent can drive 4 students, how many parents need to drive, right? So how many parents do we need to drive? Remember, each one can hold 4. So in this case, it's not a board. Let's say I've got a car. These are awesome cars, too. And each parent can hold 4. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 kids that need to go. And this person can take 4 kids, that's those 4 dots. This person can take 4 kids, that's those 4 dots. We got a dot left over, we got a kid left over. And so in this case, we have to round up. We need a whole other car because we can't leave a kid behind for the field trip. So in this case, the remainder makes you round up to 3. So in this case, it says the reason why we have to round up is we can't leave a kid behind. And so in this case, the remainder is a piece of wood we don't need. In this case, the remainder is a kid that we do need. So we have to treat the answer differently. Okay? The remainder is a fractional part of the answer. On Monday, Kim brought 9 apples to school. She shared them equally amongst herself and 3 friends. This is always kind of a tricky one, amongst herself and 3 friends. So in other words, there's our 4. It's not she split it between 3 friends. It was her plus 3 more, so that makes 4. How many apples did each person get? It doesn't say how many whole apples each person got. So in this case, we've got ourselves 9 apples and 4 people. 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, 4 person, right? So if we have 9 apples to give up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that leaves us with 1 apple to go. And so in this case, our apple, we will cut our apple into 4 pieces. So they each get a quarter of an apple now. So the answer is going to be in a fraction form. They're each going to get 2 whole apples plus 1/4 of an apple. So I should put this up here. They each get 2 and 1/4. In this case, we need 3 parents, and in this one, we get 2 shelves. Okay, so in this case, obviously, in these cases, it doesn't do any good to cut this last piece of wood into 4 pieces. That's not what we need to do. We're definitely not going to cut this last child into 4 pieces to squeeze them into the car. But in this case, the piece of apple can be cut into 4 and then shared out equally again. Okay, 2 more to go. The remainder is a decimal part of the answer. So Raul bought 4 toy cars for $9. Each car cost the same amount. How much did each car cost? Again, he bought them in Portland, no sales tax. He just gave them $9 and they gave him the 4 cars. And so for us, we're going to treat this like a long division problem, and we're going to treat it like 9.00. Almost looks like 900, right? Divided by 4 cars. So we're back to our normal. 4 goes into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Subtract, we get 1. Now we bring down right at decimal point. We'll just go right to the top. Nothing else changes except for we move a dot up top. Everything else behaves the same way as a long division problem. Now down comes a 0. Now we're looking at 10. How many 4s go into 10? Again, 2 4s will go into 10 because 2 times 4 is 8. And then we subtract and we get 2. I'll zoom out just a little bit. Zoom out and we get 2. Bring down this 0, 20. How many 4s go into 20 without going over? Well, perfectly, 5 do. 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract, nothing left over. So in this case, it is $2.25. So our remainder, that last dollar that's left over, gets cut into 4 pieces, and so instead of being $2.25, it's 2 and a quarter, 2 and 25 cents. So how much does each car cost? $2.25. And then we'll just do this one. Oops. Last dollar is split. Four ways. Kind of like the apple situation, but we're not talking about it in fractions. All right, and then the last kind of problem is the remainder takes center stage in this one. The remainder is the only part needed to answer the question. So in this question, it says 9 students have signed up to run a relay race. If each relay team can have 4 runners, how many students cannot run in the race? So you have to have a group of 4. There are 9 kids. And so in this case, the 1 left over piece is the answer. It's 1 left over kid. That's who's left over not being able to run the race. In this case, they only want the remainder. This is the student who was left out of the relay races. Okay, so I'll zoom back out. So yeah, you've got the remainder is where you get in trouble as far as story problems go for division. All the rest of those kind of story problems are pretty straightforward, but when it comes to remainders, you have to kind of think a little harder as to like, what is the question asking me and what does that remainder mean, right? In this case, the remainder is a piece of wood we don't need. In this case, it's a kid that has to go on a field trip. In this case, it is an apple that needs to be cut into 4 pieces, money that needs to be straight up divided, or in this case, we only want to know what can't happen, right? And that's the one student who can't make it. So the questions you're going to do are these ones. These 6 questions here, it says solve, then discuss the meaning of the remainder. So it says, Maddie tried to divide 160 stickers equally amongst herself and 5 friends. Herself and 5 friends. That means 6, right? There were some stickers left over, so she kept them. How many stickers did Maddie get? Okay, don't be fooled by this one. So you're taking 160. It's going to be like 160 divided by 6. And it says there were some stickers left over, so she kept them. So it sounds like the remainder for this one is going to all go to Maddie. It'll be whatever the answer is plus that remainder, because she's going to get all of them. So how many stickers did Maddie get? All right, so it sounds to me like the remainder is going to be tacked on. Kendra bought a bag of 200 cheese crackers for her class. If each student gets 7 crackers, how many students are there? How many crackers are left over? So that's going to be your answer, right? So it's going to be 200 divided by 7. And then how many students are there? Well, that part's going to be up top. And how many crackers are left over? That's going to be your remainder. Number 3. Oh, Jerry and his DVDs. Jerry bought shelves to hold the 132 DVDs in his collection. Each shelf can fit 8 DVDs. How many full shelves will Jerry have? Looks like 132 divided by 8, and we're only worried about the full shelves, so I don't think we care about the remainder at all. His loose DVDs at the end aren't an issue for us. Rashid had 87 pennies. He divided them equally amongst his 4 sisters. How many pennies did Rashid have left after he gave his sisters their shares? So not himself and 4 sisters, so just the 4. So it's going to be 87 divided by 4, and this one sounds like it only wants to know how many pennies did Rashid have left. So we only care about the remainder in this one. 2 more to go. Mara wants to buy some new school pencil boxes for her pencil collection, or some new pencil boxes for her pencil collection. She has 47 pencils. If each pencil box holds 9 pencils, how many pencil boxes does Mara need to buy? This sounds like one of those round up, right? She can't have any loose pencils when it's over. She's got 47 pencils. Each box holds 9 pencils. We want to know how many boxes will she need to buy to fit all of her pencils. So if you have a remainder, I think you're going to have to round up on that one. And then lastly, Henry's coin bank holds only nickels. Henry takes $4.42 to the bank to exchange for nickels only. How many nickels will he get from the bank? And you have to know nickel is worth 5. So this one sounds like we don't care about the leftover. If you look at this, you can realize that if I count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, I'm never going to land on a 2. So there will be some leftover money, but we don't care about the leftover money. How many nickels will he get from the bank? So that sounds like we don't need the remainder for this one. Okay, so give me 1 through 6 on page 118. Take a good picture of it so I can see it, and then turn it on in and have a wonderful weekend.